Welcome to this podcast, Holistic Creators, where we share our unique and universal stories about shaping the future for the 4 Ps: people, planet, purpose, and profit. My name is Swanette Kuntze. I'm a mental coach and your host of this show. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to a holistic future. So welcome. Welcome to my podcast, Holistic Creators. My name is Swanette and I'm your host. My guest today is Elaine Gibson. She is the healthy lifestyle designer and green juice loving grandma. So welcome to my podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, so this sounds very interesting. So how did you come to where you are now, that you are the grandmother who has a lot of knowledge about healthy lifestyle and how to live in a very good way?
Yeah, well, again, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the work that you do, because, you know, holistic creators and who are just really committed to making the world a better place is exactly what we need now. And, you know, as you and I are speaking now, I'm past 75, so I kind of like went around the barn to get into the kitchen of all of this. But basically, I took a turn. I listened to the universe, and here I am. So in 2008, I was told that I had an unexpected recurrence of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I had been disease-free for over 6.5 years. Surprise! And nobody expected it, but you know, we take what we're given. And literally, if you can imagine this, my oncologist, she said to me, and she's a woman, and I just say that because this is one woman speaking to another woman. She said, Elaine, I just want to let you know that I'm not sure you're going to see your grandchildren grow up. And we need to go down, right away, we need to do A, B, C, and D. And I almost bought it. Because I was scared. I mean, really? And then I thought, this is not an energy space that I am comfortable in at all. And I had a very, very brief occurrence in 2000. And I was stage 1, and I was clean in like 6 months. And clean is not the word I like to use, but I was cancer-free in 6 months. And then here I was. And then she had said to me, at 5 years, this baby's not coming back. We're done. Go have a nice life. And then I appeared. My husband and I had been in the Galapagos Islands in December of 2007. Who would love that? So my body started talking to me. And I want to say to everybody, our body is always whispering to us, listen. So it was just like these things, and it was something that wasn't right. And I just assumed I had a parasite. I mean, I came back from the Galapagos Islands, you know, so one thing led to another, mama bear, you know. So then in February, I had this diagnosis, and I came home and I fell to my knees, and I had this beautiful needlepoint rug like Monet's garden. And I just fell to my knees and I went, okay, God, just tell me what you want me to learn. I know that you don't have in store for my children that I will die. I know I'm not going to die. Just tell me what you want me to learn. Swanette, this is so on me. I don't know where this came from. Now I know where it came from. So it was like, really, have you ever met a Jewish grandmother from New York City before? What? I don't know what she ever thought she was talking to us. Maybe she didn't know us. But again, Mama Bear took over, and I just literally went on a journey. Every nook and cranny. What do the healthiest people do? What's the foundation of health? I never went through, and again, to everybody, this is my journey, and everybody has their own journey. You know, I just knew that traditional protocols was not for me. I didn't want to put toxins and chemicals into my body, when actually, Swanette, I felt that toxins and chemicals is how I ended up where I am. Because, you know, and again, for everybody, cancer and autoimmune and diabetes and all these things, we don't catch them, we create them. When I understood that, but that was actually only a few years ago, that I was in a documentary, and they had a gathering of the people that were in there, and 2 or 3 of the physicians said that, and I thought, wow, that's like a turning point. That's a big light switch. So we create this. I created this. So I didn't know what to do. I just looked and looked. I didn't go down the road of being a patient, of being, listen, I was scared every moment of every day. Every moment of every day. I mean, I don't want you to think this was a cakewalk. Now, I had lots of fetal days. You know, I'm so glad my husband was here. There were days I would crawl into his lap and we would cry together. And, you know, I have adult children. Today, my children are 51 and 52. So, you know, and they were all in on this. So my research, and, you know, I kind of gave up sugar a little bit. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I came across research that led me to Dr. Otto. And he was the Nobel Prize winner for medicine. I'm going to say 1931, 32, in there. And he's the one that connected and educated us on sugar and cancer, and that cancer is an anaerobic cell. Listen to this, everybody. Cancer is an anaerobic cell, which means it cannot live in the presence of oxygen. That was the first light bulb. That was so huge. I'm a dancer. I'm a choreographer. I've actually got a graduate degree here in the States in dance, in education and in dance. So I'm a choreographer. I see the big picture. It's the getting in there, getting things done. But I'm a big, whoa, way out. I was way out there. Okay. Oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. What does it mean? What does it mean? And I came to ask every day, and I still ask it. How do I get oxygen, alkalinity in my body today? And that's literally how I live. It's what I teach. And then I've created a method called the Extraordinary Living Made Easy Method, which incorporates, you mentioned that I'm the lifestyle designer, healthy lifestyle designer. So I take now everything that I've learned so far, and I continue to add to it. And I kind of put a ribbon around it and say, all right, this is what I do. And because people were coming to me, women, what are you doing? What are you doing? And interesting, I don't know about you, I don't know about your listeners. However, I have all the badges. I have Weight Watchers badge. I have Jenny Craig. I have been on every diet that there is. My mother and I, my mother's gone 23 years now, we went on the rye bread diet together. I know, crazy, right? Well, this is how we're kind of groomed here, you know. And there were side effects to my journey. However, they were different side effects than another journey. Some of the side effects, I have more energy than I ever had in my life. I lost 28 pounds. I lost 4 to 5 sizes, depending on what I'm putting on. And, you know, I wasn't looking to lose weight. I was just looking to live. And from there, I've just gone on. And in 2000, the end of 2009, I was, again, disease-free. I did everything. I did something called low-dose chemotherapy, IPT, which means they can give you a small amount, and they know how to target exactly where it is. Now, I was like a Christmas tree. If anybody's ever seen a PET scan, if you haven't seen a PET scan, you've seen a Christmas tree. I was lit up from here to here. And by the grace of God, never got any further than here. It never got into my marrow, never spread, it never did anything else. And it was like in September of 2008 that I was introduced to ionized hydrogenated alkaline water. And from there, oxygen, filled my cells, filled my body with oxygen. And from there, everything started to turn around. And then, I mean, I did hyperbaric, I did Reiki, listen, you and I were talking before, I'm going to be very transparent. I did something called ozone insufflation, which sounds exactly what it is. I stuck an ozone catheter up my butt twice a day for about 3 years. In fact, Nevin and I went on a cruise and we were able to drive to New York where we could take off. I brought it with me. I mean, I became relentless in this. I became so relentless. This became my religion. And so I have continued to do it. And at the end of 2009, I had my PET scan and I was deemed cancer-free, and yay! But it had happened before. So I'm still scared. You know, I'd done some things. I had, and up until here, I had not lost the weight yet. 2011, I discovered Lisa Wilson online. She has the Raw Food Institute. Again, by the universe, thank you. She was having an intensive week in Washington, D.C. I went there. We did enemas every day. I mean, you know, she taught us everything. But here's the crazy thing, Swanette. We walked in and she handed us all green juice. Now, I'm not talking about green juice with fruit. You know, I'm going to say to everybody, there's a lot of really bad information out there. And I am trained medicinally in Elaine of Hippocrates and, you know, in Buddhist medicine, but very medicinal, little fruit and such. So I'm talking real green juice, no fruit, all green. And so when I drank it for 2 hours, I was so embarrassed. I kept sneaking up, anybody looking. And from there, everything changed. I fell in love with the way I felt. I did go on a journey of raw foods for 6 months, total raw, because again, live, you know, what am I going to do? And that's when the weight fell off and all of that. I became a raw food educator. I became a green juice therapist, actually. And so again, this is what I bring, total plant-based. I'm not a vegan, not a vegetarian, but listen, your audience is a very spiritual group, you know, at whatever levels that there are. And in my experience, we pay a lot of attention to that part of the spiritual journey, right? Very little to the earth part. And that's kind of a bridge that I've made for people, because now when people are really connected and have a higher mission, listen, I'm 75, it's all about my legacy. For me, you know, I've created a wonderful Facebook group called the Extraordinary Sisterhood. We're going to reach 1,000 in this month. And it's women who are dedicated to creating extraordinary lifestyles, legacies, and love. So this is really what I do. I work on supporting mostly women that want to have this contribution. And so I don't expect everybody to be raw. I don't expect anybody to come to me being high raw. But we do have a way, an assessment. So they come and we have an assessment. Okay, how much raw are you ready for? That's really important information. Somebody could come to me 5% ready. That's great. It's awesome, because I have the experience to create it for them and as we move through. So I guess, again, that's a longer way. So I just am totally committed to this journey. At 75, I'm in a beautiful, brand new adult community in the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia, in the States. And most everybody around me is retired, and I'm not, and I can't, and I won't. You know, I'm just committed to this, and I'm totally committed to the work that you're doing, because nothing works without the audience that you have and the community that you've created being their best in a total integrated way. Because now more than ever, the world really needs the people who are right here in your community.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you very much already to giving us such a wonderful overview. I would like to come back to this point, listening to your body. So what I see that what you said, a lot of people that are in their spiritual growth, they are connected to the upper realms, but they are not very good connected to their own body. So what can they do to really come back into that and feel what the body is desiring, also understanding what kind of energy level they are in the physical world?
Exactly. What a great question. I'm so glad that you picked that up, because you know what? That's key. And it's one of the secrets that I discovered going through all of this. It's the first thing, actually. I love that you picked it. It's the first thing that we work on when anybody comes into my world and in our program. It's the first thing that we look at. Our body is always speaking to us. And we have come to settle and to believe that we're not supposed to feel great. We are settling that we're exhausted at 3 o'clock. We're settling that we have autoimmune things that are like, you know, what does that mean? You know, it's such a, so because of that, we're not aware of it. And little things, our body is always whispering to us. And our beloved Oprah Winfrey, she talks about first you get a pebble, then you get a stone, then you get a brick, then you get a brick wall. And if you're not listening by then, honey, you get the demolition truck. And let me tell you, I got the demolition truck. So let me give you a couple of examples that people are not aware of. Okay, and again, we only know what we know. We know what we've done, what we've walked. Okay, I took diuretics for years and years and years. I could not get my rings off. Anybody out here able to relate to that? If your rings don't come off like this, your body is talking to you because you're inflamed. Okay, when we crash at 3 o'clock, we're not listening to our body. What does our body need? When I have friends that tell me in my experiences that when women come to me, I hear, you know, when I'm in an event, of course now we're here, we're not going out much right now, we're right in the middle of the pandemic, which is fine, we're getting there. And they say, Elaine, when people take their cell phone out to take a picture, that's when I go to the ladies' room. Interesting, because they're not, and it's not about weight loss. A lot of times women come to me and the first thing that finally gets their attention is the way they do not like their body. And it has nothing really to do with scale. It really doesn't. But it's almost not until that time that is the last straw. They don't like the way they look. And then, you know, there are other things. When you're not sleeping well, you know, like that. If you have a lot of indigestion, if you have brain fog, if you have all these things, our body is whispering to us in small things. You know, if you have a lot of allergies, these are all things that our body creates. And we give mindfulness to what we think we can catch. We're in the middle of, you know, as I said, the pandemic. And I don't know about you, Swanette, but here in the States, people were obsessing about having enough toilet paper. Come on. How about obsessing about how do we strengthen our immune system? We get healthy. This is crazy. The conversations are nuts. And again, I come back to the work that you're doing. This is why it's so important. Absolutely. So, you know, people come to me, ask reflux, all these things that are a result of our body whispering to us that gets worse and worse and worse until it it can't get any worse, and we have to listen. It's the early stages.
Yeah, but what I also see is, even though sometimes the body is not only whispering, but already speaking very loud,
Yes.
yeah, people start using medicine against the symptoms, not looking where is really the source of the problem. Yeah, so if they can't sleep, they take something to sleep overnight. If they are not very active, they use some activation booster, whatever they take. But it is not like really understanding why is this happening to me, and understanding what is really the root of the problem my body shows me at the moment. So yeah, this is, for me, it is something different that is happening, what I see mostly, than what would be really the answer to this kind of question.
Exactly. And and my experience is that what we are experiencing today is the result of what was begun 90 days ago. Okay, so when we look to resolve what's going on, so let's take retaining water. Okay, this to me, I can't tell you how many years I took diuretics. And then I would get dizzy, and because and then I would have to figure out, no, I had to have orange, whatever it was craziness. So whatever is showing up, reverse engineer what you're doing to get to the bottom of the solution, get to the beginning of the solution. And when we can have that conversation, it gives people responsibility. They can own it. They don't, and not that they're irresponsible, but they don't have to go to somebody else for the answers. So when we understand that what's going on today, whether it's our health, whether it's our business, whether it's all patterns in life, right? We go back, what we do today shows up 90 days later. I have business coach for years and years. She says, Elaine, it's not working. We need to go back here. What you're doing right now, which of course is why I spend so much time, and probably you do, many of the people here, working on getting in the present so that we can make decisions right now, understanding that what we're doing right now is totally 100% the reason that something tomorrow is happening. You and I are speaking here. I see you sipping water. I have my hot water with lemon. For me, it's 9:00 a.m. I know we've had a lot of fun making the times work. I've got my ionized alkaline water right here. I don't have my juice sitting here because it's in the refrigerator. As soon as we're done, I'll have that. So when we can make the connection that the bridge to where we want to get to starts here specifically, we're asking the right questions. We don't have to go, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. We know exactly what's going on. This is what you're doing. And it gives us answers. It gives us information. It gives us data. And it gives us a roadmap of how to believe that. And then interestingly, we kind of go like from one to another to another. So when I work with somebody and I bring on a new client, after we kind of do an assessments and figure out, okay, what are you gonna, how much of, and how are you, we have all these assessments because everything has to be unique and customized. The science is the same, but the application is custom, right? So, and not everybody's day is the same. So what we do is we look at, there's 12 sections. So we look at not the hours in the day, but the parts of the day. Because somebody's craziness may be when they have to get the kids off to school. Somebody else's is something different, or the evenings, caring for parents, or getting whatever it is. So when we can isolate small chunks and we go back to that part of the day, it's like yo-yos, that's out of alignment, we can look at what's going on. We can look at what's been going on for 30, 60, 90 days, start there, and and plant seeds and let these seeds bloom. I'm working with an amazing woman, and you know, when you and I do work, and a lot of the people here, we learn so much for the people that we work with. And this amazing woman, beautiful woman, she came to me, she heard me in a documentary. And so we've been working together. We're like on our second year now. And she's doing great health-wise, but her son's having challenges and stuff. And so we worked through that. And now, so we went, all right, you know, this is happening. Let's go back. And we tracked it, and we said, all right, this, and this. And today, it's top of mind because we spoke on Friday, and today's Tuesday, so it was top of mind. And our darling Max, and they have a great routine. They have all these things that you know, there were issues because it's like, you need to do this, and this. Well, when we can back it up and get them involved in choices and all this and that, then, and it's wonderful, it's beautiful now. And my experience is when everybody involved in the action has a say in it, you go back far enough and you know that someone's saying, it's busy, you have to be in bed here, you have to be ready to go here, you have to, whatever this, you don't stop. We have to. So we take one body whisper at a time, back it up, say, let's create these stepping stones so that people can do the work that your community and my community are committed to doing. Even hair. Your hair is thinning, if your nails are splitting, if your ends are splitting more than, you know, they shouldn't. Your nails shouldn't crack. Your hair shouldn't split. You know, but so what? I'll go get a haircut. I'll go get my nails done. Whatever it is, these are all whispers. These are all whispers.
Yeah, so I totally get that. It is important to understand what is the status quo on the one hand, but also to understand how is your day going. So when are you in a very good energy? When are you going down? When do you have a lot of stress? And then figuring out also how you can do the little changes and improve your life, which means like, it is not only about listening to your body, it is also to understanding what kind of food are you eating. Yeah,
That's exactly, that's the solution that we go back to. What are you eating? What are you putting in your body? Because everything that's happening, you are creating.
Yeah, and
we are creating. So that's what we go back to. What foods are you eating? What times are you eating foods? Right, all those things. So we go back to God's garden, and we go back to the healthy lifestyle, and we bring that in. You know, one of the reasons that I'm being with you, you said something, the word status quo. So now you have picked up, without knowing, first secret that we talk about, your body's always whispering. And the second one, I'm not making this up. Anybody that ever comes into my dream, this is the second one, is something that we call decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is a real thing. And you know, when we're at the top of our game, we can make really good decisions, we can change, we can bring new things in our life. But when we are in decision fatigue or decision exhaustion, then we don't have the wherewithal to make changes, and we default to the status quo. And it's the status quo that is stealing our dream. Let me say to all business owners as well, and it's costing millions of dollars. So we must be in a mindset, in an energy, in a total holistic place of abundance, mentally, physically, spiritually, all that. Listen, I've got flowers in my office. I didn't bring them in here because you and I are speaking today. They're always in my house. I always have flowers in my house. It's one of the things Okay, everybody, that's one of the first things that we do. Keep flowers in your house. It makes a big difference. But when we are in the status quo, forget it. We don't have the mental or physical capacity to do it. So, and then again, it's happening from back here. So we must see that as a whisper as well. Swanette, there's a wonderful study that was done with a panel of Israeli parole judges. And what it showed was that when somebody who was up for parole came in at the beginning of the day, they were more likely to get a creative solution. And as the time went on, if you were at the end of that session, forget it. You're going back and there's nothing. They didn't have the wherewithal anymore. And they had a break. And went back up here. Their energy was there. They had something to eat. They had whatever it was. So it was found, and then it was after lunch and stuff, and the same thing. So they were in a mental and physical space closer to the food that they ate, that they could think better. They could think outside the box sometimes. They could think creatively. And the same thing happens to us. So decision fatigue is a real thing. It's exhausted. We make a gazillion decisions a day. We make hundreds and thousands of decisions in a 5-minute period. And it's like, oh my God, how many times have you or the wonderful people who are in your community and listening, how many times you say, oh my God, I can't think anymore. I can't make another decision. I can't do it. And you know, it's all, these are whispers, and we must be aware of them because too much rides on it.
What I hear at the moment is also about this decision fatigue, that a lot of people are, because of the situation we are at the moment in, are afraid of their health situation. So they are always kind of triggered from the outside about the media, and they are in a state of anxiety and fear, and also going into depression. And for them, it is nearly impossible to make a change at the moment. So they are in this kind of fight, flight, freeze mode, and just reacting on something, but are not able to really calm themselves down and to go into a resilient state, to make good decisions and to come back into the energy. So it's a kind of a loop they are in, and it seems to be that there's no exit. Do we have any idea about what they can do to do the first?
Of course. First, turn off the TV, because this is designed to keep us this way, right? We are in crisis adrenaline all the time. And listen, I listen to, I'm a political junkie, and I say that lovingly. And I don't watch it. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't have the news on anymore. I mean, I read, I listen. I've become a huge podcast. Huge. I mean, before now, you and I got on the phone at 8:30. I had to listen to over 2 hours of podcasts, because so this is exactly why your community and your work is so important, and the work of the people that are with you and the people that we can reach. This is learned. This is not willpower. This is skill power. This is skill power. Couple of things. And it's all about, for me, it's small steps have great impacts. There's a great expression that small hinges open big doors, and very, very small. I talked about having flowers, right? Have music on. There are things, learn to meditate. And people go, oh, I can't. Yes, you can. Close your eyes for 5 minutes and breathe and count your breaths. That's all you have to do a few times a day. One of the things that I did actually at the beginning of so we're in March 2nd today. So a year ago, January, I got Audible, the audio book. And I began, because I hadn't been reading a lot. the older I got, the less focus I had, and we were moving and, and all that, whatever those excuses. There are no excuses. There are always solutions. But excuses are good opportunities. If we stop in them, excuses are our mind speaking to us. And I was listening to a podcast, and it was, I don't remember who the doctor was, but it was Lewis Howes, and his podcast is The School of Greatness. He had it's Dr. Haberman, actually, and he had, they were talking about different kinds of stress, and that there are two kinds of stress. You already mentioned the fight or flight, the being agitated. And then there's exhaustion stress. And if you're aware of that, then the breathing is different for each of them. And you probably know that. So if you're very agitated, then we need, and this is the skill I'm giving everybody. We're talking about being like freaked out, right? And we're all freaked out, no matter how much work we do. I'm freaked out that I can't see my children and my grandchildren, right? I can't get on a plane and go to California and hug my babies. And they're big, and when I don't mean totally freaked out, but we are in adrenaline, crisis adrenaline 24/7. When we're agitated, we need shorter inhales and longer exhales to calm us down. When we're in exhaustion stress, which is, I call them my fetal days, I'll go in, I have them, and I go in and I just watch, maybe I'm watching movies for 4 hours, and then I'm okay, but then we need more exaggerated inhales to give us energy, oxygen to our brain. So we'll go and quickly exhale. So these are learned skills. Learn how to breathe. 5 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day. I have music on all the time. I have, when my husband turned 75, he's 77 now. My children, Marlo and Seth, again, 51 and 52, gave us an Amazon and Echo that plays, music and all that. So we have it, and I have one right here in my office, and it's Alexa, and I just set it in, and I'll go, Alexa, play Leonard Bernstein, and Alexa, stop. And then I'll have music all the time. Music's a beautiful thing. I have flowers. I have it. Alexa, stop. Sorry, but this is like that I have right here. My flowers are here. I'm surrounded by pictures. And Alexa, stop. Sorry. Pictures and things from my family. These are all things that whatever you love, surround yourself with it. When I was in treatment, I had this teddy bear, this little teddy bear that my husband Evan had given me. And in a picture I have of me and Nevin and our oldest grandson, but then he was like 3, holding him. And you know what? When I need it, I still hug it. And it's actually right here. So surround yourself with things that give you good energy. I love miracle baths. I'm just giving it all to you all. So, and it's what I teach in my experience is that they're wonderful. So we do miracle baths, which is a bath with hot bubbles and Epsom salt and hydrogen peroxide and essential oils. And then I have music on. I mean, we can do that. The great thing about this is there are things that we can't help. We can't help what's going out there, right? But we have 100,000 million% control over what we do. We have 100% control over what we eat. And I'm here to say, and what we drink, and the air we breathe, and the chemical, all those things. But when we talk about what we put in our body and the food that we eat, Swanette, I'm telling you and your listeners that the food that you put in your body is key to the stress reduction and the feeling of abundance that everybody is seeking. And again, it's eating from God's garden. And it's, you know, it's so important. We know the connection between the gut and the brain. We don't use it. And the interesting thing is that the same Dr. Haberman said, you cannot, I'd never heard this before, which is why I love listening to podcasts, and especially Lewis Howes podcasts. I don't get anything for saying this, but he's like, I can't get enough of what he does. The doctor said, you cannot fix your mind with your mind. You have to do something else. You need to fix your mind with your body, which came the breathing. Because you can't talk yourself. You can't think yourself out of stress. You must take action, and that action has to come from within, which is in our body, which is our food, which is all of those things that we do. So it's a bigger connection that we are aware of, and it's more important today in the fact that nobody in the media anywhere in the world that I have found is coming on and saying, listen, this is time to get your you know what together. Get your life in order. Learn how to be healthy. Learn how to eat right. Where is that? It's not. That's why the work you're doing is so important.
Yeah, and definitely going back to the question, what do you put in yourself as food? As I'm living in paradise, I'm in Madeira, and I'm surrounded by the fruit and veggies. I can, at the moment when I look out, I look into banana trees. So, and a lot of flowers as well, and birds. And so I'm really in the middle of an area where it is very easy to get organic, fresh food and all the tropical fruit that are grown here. So for me, it's really, I only have to go out of the house. But for
you only have to put your robe and your slippers on to go out and get it, right?
Yeah, perhaps if my neighbors don't see me.
I know, I'm kidding, right. But you know what, Swanette, that's so important. And, you know, I mentioned that my husband and I, now, you know, I'm a city girl, right? And we moved a year and a half to the mountains, to the I'm in the valley. I'm in between two mountain ranges. And so I look out and I have deer around me and I have small mountains. I'm in the East Coast, beautiful. We're around a lake and all that. The first thing I did was put in an English garden in the front of our house, because it's a brand new community. So I did that. And I line my deck with pots and I grow things. And now it's the middle of the winter. But let me say to everybody, and I teach everybody that will come my way, grow sprouts in your house. It's living foods. We need living foods. It's so easy to grow sprouts. And I grow my own sunflower sprouts. I just get bags of sunflower seeds from Amazon and I put them in soil. And I found this wonderful company that I grow trays of microgreens, and, you know, they just deliver it. And now every month I get 3 quilts and I just have them going all the time. Living things matter. And grow something. Your kids love it. It's fun. One of the first things that we teach is sprouting. I mean, it's so easy. It's so easy, and it's so important.
Yeah, and what about these green juices? You said that this is really like very special juice, but what are the ingredients? What do you put inside that really?
Yep. So I'll tell you exactly what I do. You need a liquid, right? So I use cucumbers. You get the most liquid. Cucumbers and celery. I don't love celery in my juice. I'm being honest. So I use cucumbers. So cucumbers and or celery. Then you have your greens. You want to rotate your greens: spinach, kale, collards, dandelion, chard. You know. That you can find, parsley, cilantro, rotate them, I put 2 greens in, and then I always have the parsley or cilantro in there. And then the flavor, which is lemon. I use lemon. I have a pot, like you can see what I'm doing. I have a big pot out back of mint that I grow. Actually, my neighbor next door has the whole area. So you have to come dig it up. So we get clumps of it. I always have mint. It's cold now, so I'll cut whatever I can. So if I don't have mint now, that's fine. But I'll use lemon. You can use lime. And some people put garlic in. I can't eat fresh garlic, but that's what I do. And I will tell you that I have at least 32 ounces every day. So I either make it, and I make it like every 2 days. So I'll have 2 or 3 16 ounces lined up in the refrigerator. And again, I'm not in an area where I can buy it that often. So there are lots of places, lots of juice bars and stuff that are making it now. You can get it delivered. You can literally get organic pressed juice overnight. Listen, you pay for shipping, whatever it is, right? But that is key. Just your cucumbers, 2 greens, and lemon. Just do that. Now, we're talking about juicing. We're not talking about smoothies. Okay, and people say, oh, I don't juice, I have to have the fiber. Yeah, you have the fiber, but you don't have to have the fiber in your juice. You know, it's like you're gonna, it's not, they don't eliminate each other. So it needs to be juice. It needs to be juice because that is absorbed immediately. You know, that goes immediately into our body and our cells. So when we are, you talk about an energy boost. Oh my goodness gracious. When we are digesting, it takes hours to have the benefit, which is why the digestive cycles come in and all of that. But juice, juice, juice. If you don't have a juicer, add water to it, and then in a blender, and then put it through a strainer. So put it in your mixer, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a expensive Vitamix. It could be a $39 blender, you know, put it in that and then run it through a strainer so that you're getting the juice without the fiber. And then you can throw the fiber into, you can throw the pulp into smoothies or salads or sauces. I mean, it's great. You know, if I want to make like an Italian sauce or soup or something, throw it right in there. But juicing is key. And I'm telling you that that's a game changer. You know, when people say to you sometimes, well, if you're stranded on an island, you can only have one thing to eat. What would it be? We can only bring one thing. And I'm always, I'd bring my green juice. That's all I need. And let me just say this. I can feel people rolling their eyes as we're talking about juicing. They're rolling their eyes. Really, Elaine, cleaning it up is a royal pain. Well, here's what I say. I would rather have my hands in the garden, right, in that, than cleaning a gross, disgusting roasting pan, right? You're cleaning what, you have to clean whatever you're using anyway. So that's not an excuse. If that's an excuse, you need to get rid of that excuse because it's that, okay. 60 days, 90 days, you're exhausted, you're feeling awful, blah, blah, blah. Trace it back to the excuse that, listen, I can't choose. It's too hard to clean up.
Buy one that you can put in the dishwasher. Then you don't have the problem with cleaning it up.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know, you're weighing it. And this is why, coming full circle, this is why I keep photos and treasures around me all the time, because it keeps my North Star here and here all the time. I'm going, oh, I think, you know, maybe we should order pizza tonight. And I'm thinking, well, you know, maybe we should, listen, again, I'm in New York. I love my pizza. I have it every 10 days. But status quo, you know, if I am on the brink of making a decision and I look on my desk or I look at something that is meaningful to me, give you a picture of one of my grandchildren. We talked about legacies, right? And think, you know, I look at that picture there, I'm surrounded, I've got a huge floor to ceiling thing here. It's all pictures. It's all pictures and everything. That's all I have to see. That's all I have to see to make the decision. I have this little, I'm just showing you. So these two little cups here. My daughter, who's now, right, okay, just a peek into Elaine, right? My daughter's now 52, right? She made these for me in summer camp when she was 7 or 8 and 9, okay? They're on my desk. If I'm thinking, no, maybe I won't, you know, these are right here. That's a connection. That's a deliberate connection for me. And these are the things that I'm really hoping that your listeners will start to incorporate, because it's the little things that get us to the bigger things. We can't be here. You know, you can't read a novel if you don't know your letters. You know, you can't have a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old starting to read unless they have the foundation. And the foundation is our mindset, it's our commitments, but it's having a North Star, and your community is entrenched in that way of thinking.
For me, it is also having a very strong why. So what you showed, the box and the pictures, this is like the reminder of the strong why. You want to be there for your grandkids. You want to be healthy and
right.
To spend time, or to spend time with them. So this is a really strong why. And I think this is also something people have to be clear about. Why do they want to be healthy? Why don't they want to live? What is the really strong reason they do have? If this is just because, I think I should do that, and perhaps my pants are a little bit tight, I need to lose some weight. This is not a strong why from my point of view. But if you have a strong why, you will always go with that. And of course, you can have one why your pizza, but this is not how you would like to feed your body with.
Exactly. And that's exactly right. The why is, you know, is that North Star, and it's around me all the time. And the interesting thing is that for me, having pizza, it's an emotional attachment to my childhood, to my parents that are not here anymore. My parents have been gone for 23 and 25 years. They're still with me, I know that. But that pizza, and I looked high and low to find New York style pizza here in the country of Virginia. And we did, one of the few places that delivers, but it's my connection to that. And when our oldest grandson, who's about to be 23, when he's actually named for my mother. In the Jewish religion, we name our children after the deceased. So that's why there's not any juniors in the Jewish religion. So one is named for my mother, one's for my father, one's for my, you know. So I took him on a trip to New York City when he was 13 and he was bar mitzvah. We ate pizza on every corner in New York City. So it's like my connection, you know? And when we have that, our why, our North Star, our meaning, or whatever it is, and that's our legacy. That's our legacy. And, you know, as you and I speak now, you're part of my ripple and I'm part of your ripple. You know, and we are all creating that ocean of amazingness, but we have collective ripples. and everybody has ripples, okay? So it's a question of kind of like what ocean you're swimming in, from the media and the craziness that we were talking about, or to one of love and abundance and action and commitment and mission and vision and greater goodness. So we get those choices, and being mindful of doing that is the key.
Yeah, you have already given us so many insights and so much inspiration. This is really wonderful. What if people now would like to reach out to you? Is there, do you have a website, Facebook, anything that you would like to share, and so that people can reach out to you?
Perfect, right. So my website is renewedlivinginc.com, renewedlivinginc.com. And you can reach me at Elaine at renewedlivinginc.com. I'm always available. And I put together a gift for your listeners. So here's where the Jewish grandmother comes in, right? So we create all these beautiful contents and guides and stuff. So I could pick one, and I'm thinking, that's not enough. I want you to know about this and this and this. So I put 3 of them together because 3 are better than 1, right? We call it Feel Fabulous Trio. So you have 3 beautiful, beautiful guides to have. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know about you, but any of you out there, it's what I know about you. I sign up for things and I get stuff all the time that I download, and I never, ever open. I really want to encourage you. This is real, actionable information. And one of the things that I've included is, so one of them is 5 ways to easily get raw foods in your diet. So easy, little beautiful guides. Another one is food and hormones, because that's it. And another one is 10 juices for radiant skin. So you have it all. You have it all. Please look at them. Don't throw these away. These are created with love to help you feel like you want to feel, and they work. So don't throw them out. Open them up. They're easy. They're beautiful. But embrace them. So I would love, so I haven't actually ever done this before. I would love if anybody, when you download them, if you email and let me know what you got or anything out of it, I'm going to send you another gift.
Wow. Thank you so much.
I like to bribe. Yeah, I bribe my clients to meditate. I can bribe your audience to embrace. We've had such an amazing conversation. So I'm now bribing all of you to embrace what we call a healthy, extraordinary lifestyle, because the world needs you.
Wow, this is so wonderful. I will write the links down in the description so that people can easily find it and just click on it and come easily in contact with you. And
yes,
thank you so much for the gifts and all your insights and being my guest today on my show.
Thank you so much. I totally appreciate it, and I love the work that you're doing, and I'm honored to be part of your mission to get in there with you and us to get in this together.
Okay, so see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening or watching my podcast, Holistic Creators. If you want to know more about how I can help and support you, have a look at my website, Spiritual-Changemaker.com. You can also join my Facebook group, Spiritual-Changemakers-Community. Stay tuned for the next episode by subscribing to this channel. And you also can check the previous episodes.